afternoon. Happy Wednesday. How's your day going? Mine is fabulous. The sun is shining. It is just so beautiful here. You know, the solstice was yesterday, and we have not had summer at all, and our spring has been so wet. I think it's the wettest in like 81 years. It's insane. Anyway, yesterday, it got warm. It was 80 degrees. It was the first sunny day we've had, and it made me happy. So I actually went out, got a little tiny bit of a sunburn, but you know what? It was worth it. And it's sunny today, and I'm going to sneak out right after this. We'll be done at 4 o'clock because I'm going to be in the sunshine this evening too. So hope your day is as good as my day, because that would mean it's pretty darn fabulous. We've got a full house. We've got everybody back around. It's kind of exciting. Teacher Michelle is here in the studio, so she'll be watching your comments and verbalizing for me. Parker is here running tech, thank goodness, so that everything's going smoothly there. He'll be watching comments and verbalizing as well. And then we have a guest in the studio, Ricky, as well, so that she's watching and seeing how this all happens. Online, virtually, we've got Caledonia. Hey there, miss you, girl. Susie, and I talked to you this morning, so hi again. And Teacher Carolyn's online with us. And I bet you David's out there too, I'm pretty much sure. So, hey David, I'll be done on time, I promise. It's your turn to introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from and meet your fellow tulips. This is a great time to make a connection and get to know each other. If you're a tulip, add your icon. If you're not a tulip, maybe you should be. But go ahead, introduce yourself. If you're a first timer, let us know. That way we can greet you and get to know you. Today we are talking picnics, parties, events for summertime. How appropriate, because it is now summertime. And I thought I would pick several different themes and just go through and work. Found this vessel, loved it with the glasses. Aren't those so cool? You've seen me use the face vases before. This is the first time I've had one that actually had glasses. And I thought it made it look so smart and intelligent that it'd be perfect for a graduation party. So if you have a graduate in the midst, maybe you want to have a family get together, get the friends over, have a picnic, this would be the perfect vase. For the mechanics, going to be easy, because flowers for a picnic or a summer celebration should always be easy. You don't want a lot of work. So for this one, no foam, no floral netting, nothing to deal with. I'm just going to do a single hydrangea for a natural armature, using it like a frog. So I'll go ahead and fill my vase with fresh water. It's already mixed with flower food, so that's already done. I've got the flower food in the water. This vessel holds a lot of water, so that means it's going to keep fresh for a long time, which is good news in the summer because you generally have warmer temperatures. So you want to be a little careful there. Now to make sure that the hydrangea holds well, reach back here, get a little bit of alum. Then I can just give it a cut. I want it to be deep into the water, but I want it to nestle right on the edge so that it helps to break the line of the container. So giving it a cut, then dipping it in alum. Alum is a pickling spice. We have it for sale online, or you can probably find it at your grocery store. But it actually makes the hydrangeas drink more completely, makes them happier for a longer period of time. While I gather the rest of my flowers, Michelle, what's going on out there?
Well, the tulips are just chiming in, and there is major consensus that you look fabulous today, and they love that dress.
You know, I thought it was a picnic dress, don't you think? The red checkered tablecloth, again, dressing for the moment. But thanks, it's one of my favorite dresses. I like that one, so I appreciate that. So flower-wise, Sweet William, isn't that beautiful with the variegation? I've always loved Sweet William. It's just such a simple flower. It's related to the carnation. It's in the dianthus family. And it comes in so many great hues, from really soft pastels to the very intense shades like you see here. And then some spray roses. These are local grown spray roses. We're pretty fortunate here in the Pacific Northwest to have so much local product. And I thought that color just works perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and just start placing these in. Parker, you got anything going on over there on YouTube?
We've got a couple people chiming in. I saw Sonette and Heidi, Jenny, Rim, Marcia, Debbie, Vicky, and Rose so far. Taking their time over here.
Okay, a slow start to things. Are you guys into summer mode? You know, everything does sort of slow down because the days are longer. You just get a little lazy, but that's okay. If you think that you know someone that should be with us, tag them, share this out, spread the word. Let's get the crowd built up here so that everybody can enjoy a little bit of summertime picnic designing. You can see how the flowers all stay right where I put them. Works so easy using the armature of a hydrangea. I don't think I want that whole stem, so I'm going to go back and get a little smaller one. What you got there, Michelle?
Well, Sarah had a question. Could you explain the difference between using quick dip and the alum?
No. Yes, I will. No. Quick Dip is a commercial product. Okay. It works similarly to alum, but it isn't alum. So with Quick Dip, you put a little bit into a container, and then when you cut your stem, you dip it, and then go ahead and place it into your arrangement or your storage bucket, whatever. I tend to do this at the point of cleaning and processing the flowers. So my hydrangea, when it came in, I did quick dip it and then put it into a vase to hold, waiting to use it for the live stream. I don't quick dip it a second time. The second time is when I go ahead and use the alum. But alum is only used for hydrangeas. Quick dip can be used on most everything, but alum doesn't seem to really help other things the way it does hydrangea. That's the only bloom I use it on, is the hydrangea. So I don't know if anybody else has found quick dip or alum to be similar like that. So if you have, kind of chime in and share your experiences. But as a whole, alum is hydrangea only at the point of designing. Quick dip is for everything at the point of processing. What other questions have we got going on out there?
Well, Judy had a question about the hydrangea. You're using it as a mechanic. Could you also do that to cover oasis?
You could. The only problem would be that to get it into the oasis and then resting on the top, it might not cover the sides the way you need it to. Now, if you had your oasis tucked really low in the container, so below the lip, then you set it in, be totally fine. And then the question comes, will the hydrangea last as long in foam as it does in a vase? As long as there's a good water reservoir, yes, it will. But if the foam dries out, if there's not a good water reservoir, then it won't hold, not nearly as well. So you'd want to be a little careful there. But yeah, I love using hydrangea as a mechanic. It makes a beautiful base for a wedding bouquet because it just supports everything and also adds that full lush appearance. So it's perfect for that. It was teacher Jerry who taught me to use the hydrangea as the base mechanic for hand ties. She uses it for so many things because it just disappears and is perfect. So I'm going to turn this so you can see that I did design it all the way around, even though the face is just in one spot. Can't be two-faced, you know. Sorry.
Couldn't pass that one up.
I couldn't. It was just like, it just came out, you know? I must have sunstroke or something. That must be it.
So another question here. Molly is wondering if there is an alternative to Oasis Floral Adhesive. She seems to be having a hard time getting it. They're still making it, correct?
They are still making it, and it is being restocked. I know we got a shipment of it in a couple of weeks ago, so we have it for sale online now. There really is not a great substitute. I do use U-glue. That works for some things, but not all. You can use pan melt in a pinch, but I've had bad luck with that sometimes letting go, and that's just a nightmare. You don't want that to happen. So U-glue, but the cold glue Oasis Floral Adhesive really is its own beast, and there's not a good substitute for that I have found. Whoa, almost knocked that over.
Good save.
I was gonna say, last time I knocked vases over, are we gonna do that again this time? It's like, oh my gosh, please don't knock over the vases. That was a deafening crunch in the studio last time. It was like, oh. A little bit of grass has a little tiny blush of that mahogany. So I thought, oh, how fun is that? Go ahead and add that in. It's interesting with the supply chain issues, like with the Oasis Floral Adhesive, it's forcing us all to think a bit more creatively and to discover alternative mechanics and to up your skills on wiring and taping. I had many calls from students saying, thank goodness you made me learn to wire and tape because I couldn't get glue and I had to do everything wire and tape. But since you made me learn it in class, I could. And there's so much truth to that, which is why we teach you all the different mechanics in class. We go through very classic up to completely contemporary, using no extra beneficial things like Oasis Floral Adhesive and using all the extra beneficial things so that you can figure out what's going to work for you and definitely be able to handle it. Now, if you're doing an event, a picnic or whatever, I always like to tie it all together. So this was my graduation, and to finish it off, thinking about coordination, I went through my closet and found some different fabrics that you could do a table runner, even just down any picnic table or anything. Add in the centerpiece, making sure that the face is forward, and then coordinating the plates, making everything tie it together. And then if it's a graduation, we're going to assume it's a high school graduation. So we've got a couple Perriers so that they can enjoy, but color coordinating everything. It doesn't have to match the flowers, but it has to match the setting. And then you could serve hamburgers and they look like $1 million because the setting is set. In fact, I had thought about getting like a McDonald's hamburger and just unwrapping it and setting it here because that looks so cute. And it's still just a McDonald's hamburger. Michelle.
So Judy had a question about color palettes. Would pink and purple not look as good?
With this particular one, the pink could be really pretty. The difference would be the intensity. I went to a very strong shade of a hydrangea, and so then adding a tint would sometimes be a little bit difficult to balance, whereas if you do a deep shade with a deep shade, it just pairs better. Doesn't mean you can't. It just means that it gives you that intensity. Kind of think about it as painting when you have oils and it's got that very intense color compared to watercolors with a more pastel-y whitewashed color. And so flowers, if you think of tints, tones, and shades and match up shade for shade, tint for tint, it just kind of works better. So I'm going to set this aside. We'll be getting photos of all of this tomorrow, and we'll post them first on the Tulip People Facebook page, and then through the weekend, I'll get them all posted out across all the social media channels. So you'll see a good close-up picture of this so that you can see it finished out. But for now, I'm going to move it over here. And then I got to thinking, what about having a family reunion or a 4th of July celebration Or if you're in the Pacific Northwest, maybe you're headed over to the Pendleton Roundup and you're going to have a picnic with the family. So when I got going in that direction, I immediately thought red, had to have red. And then I was like, well, if you're gonna go down to the Roundup, you gotta have your boots, you know, and you can go out cowboying, not for a cowboy looking cowboying, you know. So I actually got my boots, and they're filled with a vase that has water, because I didn't want to put water in my boots. But so I put a vase in, and then just gathering some things. Let's see. Maybe go some royal blue with the delphinium. Isn't that a gorgeous one? That was, just so gorgeous. And then maybe even some red roses. Let's go patriotic here. Maybe we're celebrating the 4th of July in Pendleton, not at Roundup time, but you know, we can stretch this out. We can have it be whatever we want. What else do I want to put in here? Oh, this is pretty cool. Wait till you see this. They had these at our local market. They're actually blueberries, which if they had left to mature, it's the blueberries you're going to eat. But right now they're immature, so they're green, kind of a blue-green color. And I thought, oh, those are so cool. So I got some blueberries, and I think that'd be kind of fun for a picnic piece. So I'll set those down into the boots. Again, mechanics are just natural. I'm not worrying about doing any foam or netting or anything. I wanted it to keep it as simple as possible. Then maybe a little bit of Hydrangea in that grayed blue color. Put that down in.
Scott's down in Texas, of course, and he said they did a boot theme for a wedding.
I love it. One of the weddings that I did in Montana, all the bridesmaids and the bride and everybody all had cowboy boots on underneath their fancy pants dresses. It was really quite great. I loved it. So yeah, Scott, that's right, you're in Texas. So I guess this one could be for you. How many other people from Texas out there? Let's see, let's put a Texas shout out. We've got a question on the books as to who's from Texas. And if you haven't introduced yourself and put your location, do, so that everybody can find out who's from where and get to know you. If you're part of the Tulip People, add your tulip. If you'd like to be a Tulip People, join us. We've got online flower school underway right now for the summer session. Self-paced, so you get to do it when you want to, which right now is a perfect time. What else? You know what? I think I'm going to put a sunflower in there just because. Let's make this bold and beautiful. I've got a little short one here because I don't need it to be real tall. Maybe just tucking it in.
Everyone is still obsessed with your dress.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't care about the flowers, they just want your dress, Leanne.
Okay, you guys, just careful there. You're supposed to be noticing the flowers. Flowers.
Well, we do have some Texans checking in. Patricia's in Corpus Christi, Arthur's in Houston, they keep coming in. Luana's in Claude, Texas. I don't know where that is. And there was somebody else. Oh, well, and then Carl says, Texas, don't leave out the Louisiana rednecks, me.
Okay, so we've got the Louisiana rednecks too. Well, you know, I think you can be a redneck anywhere. I don't think it limits itself to Texas. Although Texas does it big, from what I understand. But I think we could be more than just one place. I'm turning in, adding a little bit of orange, just brightening it up, and then feverfew. Okay. Thought was very appropriate for this because it seemed kind of weedy and simple and natural. Ugh, making noise here. Let's move those away.
Greg said that feverfew is so country.
It is country. Whoops, and that one's broken. And it's stinky. I mean, it really smells like the outdoors, so I thought this
Now
would be
that's
good for an
nice.
outside picnic, not inside.
Oh, want to give a shout out to Rick. He is headed to Brooklyn tomorrow. His first time freelancing for an event company in New York.
Ooh, fun. Congratulations, Rick. You know, we have lots of people to be excited for. I came in today and the teachers have been busy and there were a whole bunch of certifications. So Teacher Michelle's been printing out certificates and I've been busy signing certificates. We've got so many of you that have been busy graduating. I did 4 basic certificates. So if you're out here, identify yourself. I did one for Mia, one for Darlene, I gotta look at my notes, one for Callie, and one for Avery. So Avery, Callie, Darlene, Mia, if you're there, your certificate's headed out in the mail, just got it signed. And then we have one student who completed her advanced studies, Giselle, and your certificate is on its way as well. So you guys have been busy. So now we just need some more students so that we can keep doing some more graduations and sending out certifications. So congratulations to you all. So if you know somebody who should be in flower school, share this video out with them, invite them to join us, spread the word. Okay? So now, pulled it together, and then we have to finish it. So if we're having a 4th of July party or a Pendleton party, I decided I wanted to use my plaid tablecloth. I thought that would be appropriate, seemed very 4th of July-ish. So setting that out. And then coordinating the plates, going to the red. And then I did the other boot already, because I wasn't going to make you watch me do 2 boots. So there's the other ones. We got 2 boots. And, oh, I want to put some fountain grass in this too, just because it's so weedy. I did it in one, I got to do it in the other. The fountain grass is just light and delicate. I was talking to a graduate Monday it was, that was talking about how they'd been working in a flower shop now for a little over a year. They had graduated and got a job, been working for a little over a year, and is just amazed at how many more flowers there are this summer than last summer in new varieties. And my question to her was, is there really that many more, or is it that you're just more aware of it now? Because last year you were so new that everything was new. So I don't know. She didn't have an answer for me on that, but I thought that's kind of the way it is. Everything's new, and so it's overwhelming. And then the second year, all of a sudden it all starts making sense, and you get a little bit more comfortable with it. So while I finish this up, Parker, Michelle, anything going on that I should be aware of?
Well, Mary Lou had a question. Everyone's congratulating Rick and wishing him good luck on his freelance gig. Her question was, any tips for finding freelance work?
You know, what I have found has worked really well for some of our tulips is this point of connection on live and also on the Facebook tulip group. I know Megan met Alana and then ended up meeting Shane, and they all interrelate. They're all in 3 different states. They're not even in the same state. But Megan will have a huge event and Shane will fly out to help. I think it was 2 weeks ago, Shane had a huge event. Megan flew out to help. And they just hired, was it Kelsey that they just hired too to freelance?
I think so, correct, yeah.
Or Chelsea. I can't think of it in my brain. The name is running out, and you're probably on live now going, Leanne, it's me. speak up, because I'm sorry, I just forgot. But oftentimes you can make connections there. So go onto the Facebook group and make a point of saying, hey, guys, I am willing to travel and do freelance work for you, and just introduce yourself. Then the other thing that works really well is to make sure you have a good social media page that has good pictures of your work, and then always hashtag your city. So if somebody's looking for a freelance florist in St. Louis, it'll be hashtag St. Louis florist, and they'll find you. So that can be a good way to connect. So I've got my plates, I've got my boots, and of course, if we're going to the Pendleton Roundup, gotta have beer for that one. So this one's gonna be the adult party. So we've got the Perrier for the graduate, we got the beer for the adults, and we're ready to have a kickin' good time. So, do you like that one? Would you do boots on your table? I did wash them before I put them on here because I thought I'd been wearing them. But if you think it's cool, do some hearts, share it out, and I'm going to move this. We'll get a picture of it later and set for the next one. So get your questions ready. I've got my answers sort of ready, or at least we'll ask the other tulips then.
Leanne, you should have Pendleton whiskey up there, not a Portland microbrew.
Oh, but you're right. There is a Pendleton whiskey, isn't there?
There is.
I think David has had that before and actually liked it. So you're right. I should have got a Pendleton whiskey, and then I could have taken it home for him. Sorry, David, my bad. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, Alana is on today, and she's sharing some other advice on freelancing tips.
Thanks, Alana, because you've done a lot of it. And, you know, if you can just share those tips. And Rick, you're doing some freelance. Share it out. Any of you that have done it, or who have hired freelance, or, you know, have explored that, share your experiences. Let us all learn together, because tulips help tulips, and that's what makes us all better people, because we work together. It's not competitive, it's supportive, which is pretty grand. So now I have a question for you. Okay, you ready? Got your typing fingers ready? Okay. Would like to know your 3 favorite themes for parties. So if you were having a picnic or a party and you were doing a theme, like the Pendleton Roundup, what are the 3 favorites that you like to do flowers for? Just curious, because it's so much fun to design to a theme point. What do you think? What's your favorite? Top 3, okay?
Well, Sherry chimed in. She's having a 4th of July family reunion, so very patriotic.
I love it, yes. There's a lot of 4th of July family reunions. It always surprises me. I never realized that until I started just seeing friends. They're like, oh yeah, we always do it on the 4th of July. Oh, we always do it on the 4th of July. It's like, interesting. I guess it's kind of a nice counterbalance to Christmas, because if everybody got together at Christmas or Hanukkah, and then in the middle in the summertime as well, kind of balances it twice a year, but I thought that was interesting. Another shout out, I had an email from Sam, who was sharing with me that Takashi watches all of our lives, but never ever introduces himself because he's quiet and just lurks in the background. But I just want to do a shout out to Takashi, because guess what? We know you're out there and you can't hide anymore because Sam introduced you to me. So shout out to Takashi, and thank you for joining us. So I put a vase together ahead of time. It is a vase inside of a vase. I'm going to tip it a bit. I don't want to spill water all over though. But I put a smaller glass vase on the inside, larger on the outside, and then just sliced lemons and tucked them in. Let them come up and out. It's not going to hurt anything. The tip with this is to make sure and put water in the outer edges as well as on the inside. You need the water on the inside for the flowers, but you need the water on the outside to keep the vase from getting all gross and gunky, because it just gets sticky from the lemon juice and it just looks bad. So by putting water in, it solves that. And you can turn it. It's pretty much good all the way around. It doesn't really matter which direction. When I do picnic work, I assume it's going to end up at a center table, a centerpiece of some sort. And so I very seldom do one-sided. Even if it's going to go on a buffet, oftentimes people are coming on both sides of the buffet, and so it has to look great from both sides. So just thinking that way, being sure to finish it out, make it be beautiful everywhere. Do we have any themes coming in yet?
We do. First, I want to give a shout out to the Lyrical Lily. It's her first time with us on YouTube.
Lyrical Lily, I love that. Welcome.
And then themes, lots of them are coming in, but these are the most popular so far. Christmas, Gatsby, Halloween, baby showers, patriotic, Western, and Kentucky Derby.
The Kentucky Derby is a huge flower one. It is enormous. Now, was it Drake that did Halloween?
Probably. I don't know that I've seen Drake on yet today.
Because he's probably busy working on Halloween.
Planning ahead, of course.
I
Yeah.
was interested in Tess's. She said winter, 18th century, and 80s were her favorite themes.
Oh, I love it.
Big swings.
Yeah. Tess has done some work on some amazing events. And so, it's interesting how different countries have different themes, events, styles. It always, every culture has just a little different vibe. So it's kind of fun to hear from you, the tulips, what's interesting in your area. So what other themes have you guys come up with? Keep putting them in there. I want to hear. And probably you didn't have the Pendleton Roundup on there, but oh well.
Emma had some good ones. She said a luau or tropical theme. That's a good one.
That's fun.
Western and then Disney.
Disney could be fun, especially if you had children involved, because everybody wants to be a princess. Well, some want to be the prince, but you know what? You can be the prince or the princess or both. What the heck? You could switch back and forth. It would be just an interesting time. I just always want the crown. I don't care if I'm the prince or princess, but I want a crown. That's really the most important part. What else would you need?
That's the best part.
It is. I've got some mint here that is just so lush. I wish you had smell-o-vision, because it's so wonderfully minty. And it's not a variety of mint that I was familiar with. There's this kind of mint. I believe this one is pineapple mint. And it's mintish, but not nearly as fragrant as this one. And then there's the regular spearmint and such that you see all the time. But this was a different variety, and it's actually almost fuzzy. It's got a real texture to it. And the color goes so well with the green hydrangeas. So just going ahead and adding that in.
Just to confirm for Leslie on YouTube, that's green hydrangea that you started with, right?
That is. It is it called Limelight? Limelight?
Limelight is a PG, so
Okay, so it's not Limelight, but yeah, is it kiwi green maybe then? Because I should know the name. It's a specific light green hydrangea, and it might be kiwi, and it holds really well. So it's a nice lasting hydrangea. In fact, this hydrangea is from, I think last Thursday. It was either Thursday or Friday. And so it's several days old, and I didn't have room in the cooler for it, so it's been actually sitting at room temperature. And so it's held up nicely, really well. You can see just adding in the mint, and I'm doing it slowly because I'm enjoying the fragrance and just kind of playing with my flowers. Don't you love that when people come in and say, it must be so fun to play with flowers? But you know what? It is. It is so fun to play with flowers. Now granted, there are days when you're scrubbing the buckets or you are cleaning another rose with all those thorns that you don't feel like you're playing with flowers. But even on the worst day ever, being a florist and playing with flowers is better than most people's days because it's really a fun way to make a living. I have never regretted it after all these years. It's still the career of choice for me, which, you know, for most people, you don't stick with your first career because you think, I'm going to do that, and then you discover, I didn't like that. And so then you try something else, or you try something else. But being a florist, you sort of stick with it. Now, you might do it differently. You might be a wedding florist for a while, or then you might decide you want to be a flower farmer florist and grow things. I know we have many graduates who are flower farmers as well as designers, and that just gives them such joy to actually grow from seed or start or tuber or bulb and then design as well. So to go through that whole life cycle of growth, harvesting, designing, and then spreading that flower love with a bouquet sale. Pretty grand.
Speaking of picnics like the Kentucky Derby, if you had lime in there instead of lemon, you'd have a little mojito going on with the mint and everything.
You know, you're
Derby.
right. Oh my gosh, but we had old lemons in the refrigerator that I was trying to use up. I didn't have any old limes, but you're right. Wouldn't this be so cool if it was green here? Because then I would have 100% unity, and then I could have made mojitos. We would have had such a fun time in the studio. Again, I failed. I should have had the Pendleton whiskey and mojitos. Yes, Michelle.
I'll remind you about that next time. Scott asked, is it Green Goddess?
That doesn't sound familiar, but maybe it is. You know, Scott, I would defer to you because I don't know. It was sold to me by name, and that just doesn't sound familiar. But it is possible, definitely.
Can I shout out to Sarah over on YouTube? It's her first time joining us live.
Okay, so YouTubers, you have a first timer there. Her name is Sarah. Share the love. Let her know that we love having her join us and make her feel welcome. It's sometimes a little bit awkward for a first timer because we all get together every week and it's almost cliquish, like, ooh, everybody knows everybody. We got to remember, we're not a clique. We're inclusive and we want everybody. And so even though you're saying hi to your friends, reach out and say hi to Sarah. Any other first timers, please introduce yourselves. Don't get embarrassed. Don't be shy. Don't go, whoa. They might talk to me. Yes, we will talk to you. And that is a really good thing. So go ahead, if you're a first timer, get it in there.
Another shout out, excuse me, to Arthur. He just retired after 46 years of teaching high school.
Oh, Arthur, congratulations. High school teaching is hard. All teaching is hard right now because the world has changed. But high school, I've always thought to be exceptionally hard because the young adults are going through such change in their life that there's angst of all kinds, and you're caught in the middle of it. So congratulations, 46 years. Did you ever think that you would be doing the same thing for 46 years? I mean, here I am, same story, doing the same thing since 1988 as far as teaching, and since 1979 as far as being a florist. But I honestly didn't know that that was going to happen, that I would be doing it all these years later. But boy, I'm glad that I am. I really like it. So the local roses in there, and they're like a garden rose, obviously, because they've got the buds on them and everything, and they just make this come to life a little bit more, kind of fluffing it out. Then I have something else to add because it's just too much fun. So I gotta make some room here. Sneak over to my other little table where I hid it. And you're gonna be jealous, you're gonna wish they were yours, but they are mine. And they might have to go home with me after we get the picture because they're so beautiful. Aren't the poppies great? I really do love them. We just filmed a poppy care and handling. It'll come out on a Tulip Tuesday in just a couple of weeks. If you are not receiving the Tulip Tuesday emails, be sure to sign up for the newsletter because that'll have it on there and you'll get it. If you sign up for the newsletter today, you'll be in there in time to get it because it won't be out for a couple of weeks. We just filmed it, so it's got to get edited and the whole story put together. You know, there's the rest of the work to go. If you are looking for the Tulip Tuesdays, Susie has a playlist on YouTube. And so if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and those of you that are on YouTube, you're already there. But those of you that are with me on Facebook, if you'll go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, you'll be notified whenever we do a live and whenever we put something new up. But you can also go and look at the playlist so that there's a playlist of all the Tulip Tuesdays, and you can find all the things that we've gone over. There's also a playlist for summer floral design. There's a playlist for foam-free design. There's a playlist for wedding bouquets. There's so many different playlists there. I think you'll really enjoy going through that. But I used poppies the other day, and I shared with you already this, but I'll share it again. So this is a repeat. If you saw the old live stream, you already know this. If you missed it, you're seeing it now. And then when you get your Tulip Tuesday, you can say, well, I knew that. I already knew that. Because you're so smart. And that's all good. But when you do a poppy, the technique is that you have to seal the end either with boiling water or with flame, or they won't last. But if you do boiling water or flame, and both work, the reason I'm doing flame this time is I don't have any boiling water up here, so that just has to be that way. But if you give it a cut, and then you just singe it, and then set it down in, then it's going to last without any problem whatsoever. Now, I tend to do the boiling water more often because then you don't have the black end and it gives you a prettier tip in case you're using a clear vase. Here, I've got the vase hidden, so it didn't really matter. So I went ahead and just used the fire so that I could get it done in front of you. But it's just a matter of singeing that end and then tucking it down into the water, making sure it goes in deeply enough that it drinks. And even the buds will open. So, people say, well, what about the buds? If you burn it, it's not going to. Yes, it will. I promise you. I've been testing it. I had quite a few at home that I did this to watch and make sure that they held well, and no problem whatsoever. It really worked great. So it's just a matter of taking that little extra time, but the extra time is what gives you the value and quality that goes with your work.
Would a little bit of cold glue or pan melt on the ends do the same thing, or do you need to kind of scorch it?
It needs to scorch it. If you did glue on the end, it would seal it. Through the miracle of Mother Nature, and I don't know how this works. Don't ask me, I'm not a scientist. I just touch flowers. But if you glue it, you're sealing it and it will no longer drink. Whereas if you singe it, it stops the milky sap from escaping, but it doesn't stop it from drinking. How does that happen? It can go in, but it can't come out. So, if you're a scientist, maybe you can enlighten us, but I'm not, and I'm not going to pretend. But it's the same technique we use for cut poinsettias, because in the winter to use a cut poinsettia and design is so lovely, and it's that exact same technique to make it happen. Maybe I'll put one more in here. Yes, teacher Michelle.
Well, we have another first timer on YouTube, or excuse me, on Facebook, Donna from Boonville, Kentucky.
Donna from Kentucky, welcome. I'm glad you're here. So all of our Facebook friends, get out there and greet Donna. Make her feel special. Let her know we're glad she's here. I love it. You guys are such a great welcoming group. Have you come up with any more theme party things?
We did. We had a quinceanera, an art-inspired theme. So picking a picture or a painting in an art gallery and working around that.
Oh, cool. We had, I saw when I was looking on Facebook, Rosie mentioned in Australia having Australia Day, Queen's Birthday, football finals, the Melbourne Cup. Other things, yeah, we're not thinking of.
Excellent. So great ideas, people. It's fun to see what you come up with. I love it. Good job. You still got a few minutes to get more in there if you want. Are you wimping out on me? Oh, come on now.
We do have a question from Cindy. She was wondering if very many studio florists do everyday floral arrangements, or do they mostly focus on weddings and events?
That is a great question, and let's throw it out to the tulips first, and then remind me, and I'll circle back to it with my own answer. So the question is, for a studio florist, so somebody that is working in a studio as opposed to a traditional retail location, do they focus simply on wedding and event? Or do they also produce everyday work for daily deliveries? So for those of you that are out there as working professionals, what are your thoughts? Studio florists, event only or combination? So I've got this one, and I thought when I was working on this one, I was thinking a little bit more formal. So we did the graduation, we did the Pendleton. Now we'll go something a little bit more, maybe a wedding shower or a retirement party, or just because I'm special and I deserve a party. We can do something there.
I like that idea.
I know. Me too. So then, my bonus daughter knows that I love lemon things, and one year she had sent me an apron that was made of lemons, and then this was a table runner that had the lemons on it, and I just thought that was so pretty. And I thought, well, how appropriate, since I'm trying to use up the old lemons in the refrigerator, and setting it together.
Well, I'm kind of keeping a tally as to which is studio only, and I'll take anything that comes my way. But circling back to Arthur, he says, I'm still stuck on the cocktail arrangement. What would a sangria arrangement look like?
Oh, sangria could be fun, wouldn't that? Because that has such beautiful color to it. And then the fruit floating around. Don't they even do pineapple? No, not pineapple. What is it in sangria?
Peaches or nectarines usually.
Stone fruits. Okay.
But imagine like coral charm peonies with that.
Mm. That would be so lovely. Yeah, sangria. That would. You know, I will come to your party if you're going to serve sangria. You could twist my arm for that. I thought for this one, since it's a celebration for me, just because I'm special, we would do sparkling champagne. Gruet is from New Mexico, so it's not truly champagne. It's sparkling wine. Most people didn't even know that New Mexico had a sparkling wine, but they do, and it's actually a pretty good one. So putting it all together, now I wish it had a yellow label. It didn't, but oh well, that was what fit the budget today. So there we go. You like this one? If you do, send some love, tag a friend, share it out, all of that. I'm going to set it aside so we're ready for next time. getting the photos. And I've got one more I want to share with you. That's another one that's just simple and easy. And I don't have a whole setting for it because I was like, I'm running out of space. Oh my gosh.
We have another first timer from Facebook. Marianne is first time on live.
Hi, Marianne, first timer. Give them the love. Come on, tulips. Welcome, Marianne, to the Peoples. And Marianne, glad you found us. Pretty exciting to have new people joining us and get involved.
Well, it looks like we're about 50-50 split on studio only or daily work. And a lot of folks are saying they'll take date specific daily work, like a birthday or a funeral, which I would classify as an event, if it meets a minimum threshold of dollars.
And that is all good input, and I would have to agree. The problem with doing daily work for a studio florist is you don't always have the inventory on hand to do an arrangement, and so if you have to jump in your car and drive somewhere to get it, and then you have to buy more than what you need because it comes in bunches, it can actually cost you more money to buy the flowers to make the arrangement that you sell. Because if you sold the arrangement for $100, but you had to go buy $150 worth of flowers, you're not going to be able to stay in business very long that way. You're just going to run out of money. So that can be tricky. The people that I have known that do studio work that add in daily work do it one of two ways. One, they set a very high minimum. I will do a single bouquet, but my minimum is $350, or my minimum is $500. Because for some people, if they really want you to do it and it's this very special event, $500 is fine. It's just like, they would go to the most fancy restaurant ever and buy an expensive bottle of wine because it's a very special time. So they want that very special arrangement. So that works because you get the price high enough to where it justifies buying the flowers for it. The other way that I've seen it work well is you go in full bore and really let the world know you're doing daily orders. And you go for being in business as a full-fledged florist. It works best if you've got a great commerce website. You need the pictures with the ability to pay you. And if you don't have a commerce website, it makes it a little difficult because oftentimes a studio isn't where people are going to be coming to you. It might be in your home and you don't want people in your home. So you have to have the ability for them to order it online, give you money online, and then you create and deliver. So those two ways work. It's just be really cautious and plan ahead, because if you try to do it just simply by saying, oh yeah, I'll take an order, you can end up losing a lot of money very quickly. So on this one, I thought I would just go through and tuck leaves in, and then I can either cut these leaves off at the top, making it all just flat, or I could fold them over so that they come out the outside as well. It can be done both ways. I'm going to do one fold over just so you can see that, and then I'm going to cut the rest and just go ahead and cut them off so that they stay below the vase. So now I've got the leaves lined, just gives it a little different look. I can do it with the one leaf bent over and have that be fun. Another way I can do it for a little bit of different look is take another leaf, like flax, and just set that down. And it just gives you a different look. You know, it's simple. It's things we do every day, but just thinking of it differently. Instead of doing a typical vase line, add another leaf or fold a leaf over. And it gives you just a totally different look, which is kind of fun. Because you don't want to do the same thing every single time. You want to try to change it up to keep your own self interested. Teacher Michelle.
So what other kinds of leaves could you put in the water?
You know, anything that is hard and leathery, it needs to be a very, very hard leaf. If you did something soft like Dusty Miller or Plumosa, it's just going to make the water skanky and rot and shorten the life of the flowers. But tea leaves, flax, Fatsia leaves, Aspidistra, all those hard, leathery leaves work just great. Now, I'm using marigolds, which a lot of people don't like to use marigolds because they stink. They have a very strong odor. And if you did our Tulip Tuesdays, you would know, because we sent this out last summer, if you remove the foliage, they don't stink.
But your fingers do.
I know, now I have to go wash my hands. But yeah, if you remove the foliage, they don't stink. It's like magic. Yeah, really and truly. Now, another place you can go, if you go to the YouTube and you look at the channel, there's a playlist for the Tulip Tuesdays. Susie also posts all of them with a picture on Pinterest. And so if you go to Pinterest on our page, you can see Tulip Tuesdays and all of our different videos, all of our stuff. So you can find the picture that you like and go, I want to watch that video. And you can click the picture and it takes you to our video so that you can see the tutorial that goes with that. Susie Caledonia, if you would put the link to our Pinterest page on there, that'd be great. That way people could subscribe. If you don't already follow us on Pinterest, do so, because we try really hard to make sure that we keep it up to date with all the new stuff. And that way you can see what it is we're doing. Okay. So I'm just putting in the marigolds. Now I'll go back and see what else do I want to put in here. Ooh, maybe a little bit of the cottage yarrow. That kind of paprika color will mesh well. And again, keeping it casual, because picnics are not supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be call up your friends and get together and have a party. And that's where the flowers have to also be easy. Just gather some beautiful things, drop it in a vase, and call it good. Now granted, we do a little more than just drop it in a vase. We make it kind of fun and creative, but you got to make sure that you don't make it hard, because if you make it hard, then it's not fun anymore. And you want all your picnic type things to be fun. So, got 1 minute left, because then I'm going to go enjoy myself. But what else is going on out there?
Well, they're all talking about the color in this and talking about where they could use it. Sunday Mass, just give as a gift. What a great idea to do the foliage that way.
Isn't it fun? And it's so easy. You know, sometimes we overthink things and we don't really just let ourselves relax and have fun. And floral design is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be easy. Now, we also know it's not easy. If it was easy, we wouldn't have to study so hard to make sure we're doing things correctly, that we're keeping the flowers alive, that we're doing the things that make the arrangement have all the elements and principles and still follow through for longevity. But you don't have to make it harder than necessary. If you know your rules and your theory, then you can just have fun with it. isn't that just too fun? I mean, marigolds, poppies, little cottage yarrow, interesting leaves, simple and fun. So, did we answer all the questions?
I think so.
Okay, so Mia, Darlene, Callie, Avery, and Giselle, your certificates are on the way. If you have not joined us for Flower School yet, I invite you to come join us. It's a lot of fun. Yes, it's a bit of work, but it's a skill that you can use for the rest of your life. Use it to decorate your own home. Use it to create gifts for friends. Use it as a way to make a living. And right now, with the economy the way it is, we all need a little bit extra money, a few extra dollars, and Floral can make that happen. And with many of our students, I'm finding out that they get jobs while they're still in school because the demand is huge. So hopefully I'll see you one of these days. So now you have your homework. Get in there and subscribe to YouTube. Follow us on Pinterest. Join us for Flower School. Sign up for the newsletter so that you get everything. And get out there and do something you love. We'll see you all next week. Bye for now.